Hello, everyone. So good to have you here. Welcome. What a beautiful gift to have so many today or tonight or in this morning for me. Sorry for the voice, I'm a little bit sick. My daughter keeps bringing me bugs from the daycare, so I gotta manage. But we're good to talk, to share, to connect, to discover. Many of you probably are wondering, what are we doing here today? What is the point of this gathering? And for me, it is the most important moment for you and for me. Nothing is more important than now, for what it means. If you treat this moment as it is, as sacred and beautiful and divine as it is, probably either you get a glimpse of what we're going to talk about today, or run away in fear because of what is going to be presented today. Either way, you're free. Today, the invitation is for us to discover something so pure, so marvelous, that is so easy, so easy to grasp. And at the same time, it can be the most difficult task ever without proper guidance and clarity. So basically, we're here today so you can discover who you really are. Truly. And finally. There's no point on believing that is going to happen in some future moment, that something is required for it to happen. All those are mind games, time-bound fantasy experiences that has nothing to do with self-realization or realization of the self or remembering who you truly are. So we're here to discover and have a dialogue on the essence of the one that is watching me. For the time being, we're gonna have to explore what I'm sharing, but there's gonna be a moment when you have to stop listening, watching, observing things in front of you, because all those things are binding you into the belief and the idea that you are not already self-realized and that you need something. You don't need anything. Nothing at all. You just have to have the proper understanding that the one that is watching me has never watched anything, ever. The real witness has never witnessed anything. It's just a beautiful pointer to your divine nature. Your divine nature has never witnessed anything, is everything. It doesn't experience things, doesn't see anything at all. There's no duality there. There has never been. The moment that you bring something that something is related to something else. A relationship between subject and object. Subject-object relationship means duality, two things, a phenomena. And we are here to clarify that as long as there's subject-object relationship, you are not free. You will never be free. No matter how beautiful the experience might look like, even that you experience oneness, it's still dreaming, still fantasy, is still subject-object relationship. And we're here just to clarify that the illusion, does the ego-based assumption that something else exists. Only the self exists. Nothing else has ever existed, ever. Time has never been into the equation. Space, neither. Nothing that you can actually objectify, that you can actually see in front of you, will never be you. So the only emphasis in these gatherings is to get intimate and get clarity and understanding of your true nature, your real self. The only concern here in this moment is you. I only care about you. I don't care about the things in front of you. They're irrelevant. They're unimportant. The most important thing is you. The question is, who's that one? That, for me, is the most important thing. We have believed to be concepts, ideas, notions, name, sensations. We have believed to be that which just we thought that we were that one. That mental fantasy, you can call it ego or anything you like, as your identity. You don't have an identity. So it's tricky in this conversation because the fantasy and the illusion of the mind and the ego, it can be so strong that experiences, notions, knowledge, and understanding can blur. Can make one believe that you have become one with the object of observation. And that can be beautiful. Still, you don't know who you are. You can pretend to know who you are, but you don't know who you are. As long as there's a subject-object relationship, you don't know. You'll never know. It's so simple to know who you are. It's the most simple things. Even simpler than that is to break from the jaws and the traps of the ego. It's so easy to break from the ego. It's the most easy thing. And funny enough, is one of the things that nobody has actually done it. The tricky thing is that you break from the ego and then you end up in a different game, the most difficult game of all. And that one is the hardest one to break from. So ego-based identity is so easy to break from. It's like a bubble bursting in the air. It's so easy. When you end up in a different game, which is the hardest one to break from, and it's a consciousness game. And that one is not a kindergarten anymore. And many people end up in the jaws, in the traps of the sensations and notions of consciousness. And still, as amazing as it can look like, and the appearance of everything that consciousness is playing with. One, a really rare being, might have a little tingling in their heart or in their heart with some mystery and curiosity. Where does consciousness come from? How it came manifested? Why it is as it is? Where does it come from? And that person is lucky, because something deeper than the deepest is calling home. Consciousness is not home. Consciousness is not home. Home is the source of everything. So what is the source of consciousness? I call it the self, just so we can have a conversation. Because it's the only place that is self-referral, self-luminous, and doesn't need anything at all. It is. So we're here to really bring about a push, so inward in your own being that you actually finally start to ask the real questions. Who am I, really? Truly. When that question gets answered, you'll be fascinated of everything you believe to be true. You'll just laugh away of all the mental, conscious nonsense that you believe to be true that apply to you. Nothing applies to you, nothing at all. You have always been free of everything, even from consciousness. You have never been bound or imprisoned in nothing. You have been the witness of it all, of a fantastic cosmic phenomena, a play coming out of yourself that has never been able to touch you. It will never be able to touch you. So it's fascinating because many people are trying to discover themselves, the reason for being here. Sorry. And I mean, in this gathering today, I mean, in life, trying to find out, why am I here? What's the whole thing? Why I've gone through the things I've gone through. Where am I going? There's people that have experienced really tough experiences in life, some that haven't, but still the inner sensibility towards finding a higher truth, to different from what the world is presenting. And those people are lucky, because they are trying to find deeper meaning, deeper answers to deeper questions. And those people, of course, end up in many places, because they're still trying to find sense to everything that is happening in and out, in the realm of their inner experience, but also in their daily life, in their jobs and everything. So they're trying to make sense out of everything. And they can't make sense out of everything, because it's impossible to make sense of everything. The game is so big that you can pretend to know, you can pretend to have an understanding, but then life smacks you in the head, and then you're like, whoa, I don't understand so many things that I thought I understood. So it's like, it's constantly like that, That's the dance, And many of us end up in a spiritual search because, of course, we want to know. There's a longing, a deep desire to know truth, you know. We want to know truth. We want to know who we are at the end of the day. And because of the game is so powerful, we end up in so many traps. Which is beautiful. It's a game at the end of the day. It's a game. It's a game if you watch it as a game. Outside of the game, the witness of the game. If you don't play like that, it's not a game. It's suffering, pure suffering, doubt, trying, effort, postponing, lack. And that's not joyful at all. Processes, trying. It's tiring, you know. But that makes you ripe, makes you grow, makes you being ready for something so pure that you have to be humble. And true humility is rare to find. Pretending humility is easy to find. Pretending to be humble is easy to find. Most people can pretend to be humble. True humbleness is really rare to find. Why is rare to find? Because only true humble beings are open and are manifesting themselves this kind of dialogue. Not many people can actually hold on to their seats for real truth because what it could mean. The highest, there's no higher truth than the self-reality. Nothing exists other than the self. And that's literal. Mind doesn't exist, light doesn't exist, time doesn't exist, the world doesn't exist, humanity doesn't exist, the new universe doesn't exist, nothing exists at all, other than the self. No qualities, no shapes, no names, no forms, nothing at all. Only the self, self-luminous, present, real, presence. If something else exists, it's not the reality of the self, and it's a fantasy in the illusion of the game. The question is, for whom is the illusion? And then you end up in where duality starts. For whom? For whom? Everybody's trying to solve the riddle. Everybody's trying to solve the puzzle, trying to understand things in front of them, you know? Trying to learn this, trying to let go of that, try to make sense out of life with mental games, emotional games, trying to understand things, you know? But they're missing the point. You just have to understand who you are and that's it. You just have to explore who you truly are, have an understanding, a clear understanding of your true nature, and then everything is laughable. What's the point of spending years and energy into trying to get to know things, you know? Deeper understanding of things, and you don't know the one that understands things. If you don't know the one that is watching them, if you don't know truly who's the one that is experiencing them, truly in the sense of self, in the sense of being, it's so simple. So everything that is in front of you, everything that has happened in front of you is time bound. Of course, sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not there, you know? Sometimes there are thoughts, sometimes there are no thoughts. Sometimes there are emotions, sometimes there are no emotions, you know? Time bound. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not there. So if sometimes it's there and sometimes it's not, it cannot be real, you know? Because it has conditions, it has limitations. But then you end up, if you have this understanding, if you want to go deeper, everything that you have experienced, everything, sometimes has been there, sometimes not. Even consciousness, sometimes has been there, sometimes not. Sometimes you have been aware, sometimes you haven't been aware. You know, even those things are still have limitations. There's only one thing in the whole cosmos that doesn't have limitations. Only one thing. Doesn't need nothing at all, anything at all. And without that thing, nothing could possibly be recognized as existence, as if it were existed. So, for example, you might say that thoughts are there, but without someone there that can witness them, they don't exist at all. So first you need the witness, then you will be able to see thoughts. It's the same with emotions and the body. You need someone there to be able to recognize the body, the emotions, the mind, anything. You need someone there. So you need someone there in order for the next things to be recognized. So those things can only be recognized if there's someone there. So they have a limitation. They need someone there. Without there's to be someone, nothing can actually be witnessed. So they have limitations. But you can go deeper and deeper and deeper. And like I said, even consciousness, even awareness, which is another aspect of consciousness in a different kind of phenomena, deeper phenomena, it still needs someone there. But who's that one? The only thing that can actually click all these checkboxes that is always there is beyond time. It doesn't end up in the fantasy of the things, believing of the things that is in front of it. It doesn't need the things at all to be self-aware. The things need that self-awareness in order for them to be actually acknowledged. But that thing which is always radiant, self-luminous, and doesn't need anything at all is you. That's the only thing that actually clicks all the check boxes. You. You are the source of everything. You have always been. You have always been the true witness of everything. And the true witness has no name, has no attributes, no colors, no sensations can describe it, no qualities whatsoever. No one can talk about the highest truth. No one actually can talk about who you are. It's impossible to talk about the truth of your true nature. It's impossible. No one can actually talk about it. We can talk about everything that appears that you are not. But no one can talk about you, the real self. No one. So if no one can actually talk about who you are, it's important for you to understand that you will never be able to find it, ever. You will never be able to find the highest truth. Impossible. So why waste time trying to find something that you will never find? Why? Why trying to get to something that you will never get, ever? Why practice anything? It will never lead you to know the highest truth, because you will never find the highest truth ever. It's impossible. Why? Because you are already that which you are looking for. The highest truth will never be found because you're already that. You have never been a phenomena or an object of perception. That's why it's impossible to find it, because it's not something that you will grasp with your hands or something, ever. You are the one that is watching the looking for. You are the one that has been always witnessing the search. You have never searched. It's like the eye will never be able to see itself, ever. The tongue will never be able to taste itself, ever. It's the same. The self will never be able to see itself because it doesn't need to. It's not a phenomena. It's not an object of perception. So the question is, who's the one that is perceiving everything? Who's that one? Who's that one? And the curiosity here, and we are here to explore the reality of that one. The highest reality of all is that one is the only thing that exists and nothing else exists, literally. Nothing can describe that one. The closest you can actually say is that one is supreme emptiness. And that is not even close to its real nature. It's just a beautiful, powerful pointer. Even the witness is a powerful pointer. And yet it's not real. The real witness is not witnessing anything. The reality of the self has no colors, no light, no objects, no things at all. Nothing at all. No levels, no here and there, up and down, coming and going. All those things doesn't exist in the reality of the self. Only the self exists as I am. Without the I am, without the knowledge of I am, self-luminous. Without the need of consciousness to know itself to be, doesn't need it. Without consciousness, still is. Because that's the question. When you're not aware, do you cease to exist? When you're not conscious, do you cease to exist? You are always existing, no matter what. The question is, who's that one? Regardless of the phenomena, regardless of things, regardless of anything, who's that one which is always there? And that one is the one that is really free. If you pay attention to your life, to your immediate universe, let's say, there's only one thing that you can actually experience as your own, let's say. There's only one thing, that there is doubt-free, and that you will never be able to deny it. It's the experience of I am. You will never be able to say I am not. Ever. The question is, who's that one which can't deny itself? You know, many people experience things, and there's always self-referral. You know, I can see my thoughts, I can see the emotions, I can see the body, I can see memories, I can see my life. I've experienced peace. I've experienced oneness. I experienced connection with things. I've experienced, it's like constant. There's someone there that is self-referral as I. I love, I live, I connect, I. Who's that I? Have you ever had that curiosity to actually really know who's that I that you always talk about yourself? Or is the filter to everything? Who's that I? And that I is not you. It's the filter of who you think you are. And that's where duality and the illusion starts, in the I. not in the things that the eye experiences. The illusion is the eye. So you can say, I've experienced love. I've seen this. I'm exploring this. I'm playing with this. There's constant I, and that's the illusion. That's the ego, the real ego. The sense of I, the notion of I, is who you think you are. And you take it naturally as this constant filter of things. So if I always ask you or point out whatever is happening with you, you can't say I am not. If I say what is happening, well, I'm experiencing this. So you're always referring to I. I am happy. Someone is happy. The I is happy. If the I exists, happiness actually is misleading. As long as the I exists, as long as the I you exist, as long as the me you exist, there cannot be real happiness. People can fool themselves for sure. That's true. You can fantasize about things for sure. But then a reality check will come and all your beliefs will be shaken. Even your happiness beliefs, your love beliefs are going to be shaken because a higher truth wants to knock in your heart. And you're lucky if something is being shaken. You're lucky because it means that something pure wants to enter your heart. You just gotta let it in if you want. If not, it's fine. The self is infinite patient. So not many people actually want to discover who this I that is in the middle of everything. Because this I, if it disappears, oh, wow, you'll know who you are. As long as this I exists, you will never know who you are. Because you are the one behind the I. But the I can actually, the I-ness, even the I-ness, you're behind the I-ness. But the I-ness can be the door towards the real witness, the self. It's so easy to break free from duality, so easy. You just gotta, don't listen and don't identify with that I that starts the whole phenomena of multiplicity. That's how easy it is. Don't identify with the I that starts all the mental game of everything. And then you're empty. You are silent. You are here, quiet, just watching, just noticing everything unfolding as it is. And everything that is unfolding has nothing to do with you. Nothing has ever got anything to do with you. You have always been free. And if that's true, it means that you don't need anything. Nothing at all. Because it's true. And there's something really important to understand in this game. I'm going to try to put together with the story. It's a funny story if you watch it from the self perspective. If not, oh God, it's terrifying. Okay, so let's say that someone dies. Let's say that someone dies and ends up in the gates of the Lord and knocks. And the Lord opens. And the person says, can I come in? And the Lord says, no, you can't come in. But why? I was such a beautiful human being. I love everyone. I serve everyone. Yeah, no, you can't come in. Chap. This person was like, whoa, I was not able to come in. What happened? I did all beautiful deeds. I love everyone. I behave well. Uh, time goes on, time goes on. And this person wants more experiences just to see what actually this person, what is required to enter uh, the highest heaven. So then after so many lifetimes, let's say, comes, knocks on the door. Lord, can I come in? No, you can't come in. But why? I was exploring truth. I was, I was gathering with beautiful people exploring truth, you know? Yeah, you can't come in. Damn it. Time goes on, time goes on. Again, this person was curious. Why did I didn't come? I was not able to enter. If I was just, I don't know, exploring truth, finding answers. Okay. And this person desires to explore more and to get more experiences and try to solve the riddle, you know? After quite some time, comes back, knocks on the door, and he's like, yeah, I can enter now. God, can I enter? No. But why? I actually was in the highest realms. I was with the gods, with the sages, the most beautiful beings. I actually taught your message. I actually shared my heart. I was unified with the universe. Yeah, you won't enter. And there's someone when this person was like, whoa, something's going on. I'm missing something. What am I missing? I actually done everything that the book said. I actually follow my heart. I was with amazing beings. I was exploring the universe in all its possibilities. Why I didn't enter? Time goes on. Duality didn't break. The illusion didn't break. Finally, this person, something clicked in their heart. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know what is required to enter. I give up. It's like I've been put on my knees. Anything I try, anything I do, is like is worthless, is useless. Why? So it's pondering, 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 pondering. So in real humbleness, naked, all its concept, experiences, notions, all gathering of knowledge of being with so many beings, so many realities, gets humble and is like, I don't know anything. Knocks on the door. God, I don't know. God says, no one can enter, only I can be here. No one will never enter, only I can be here. And then this person in true humbleness, in real openness, pure heart, listens for the first time and actually something clicks. And it's like, who's this I that has traveled all galaxies? Who's this I that actually was born and died? Who is this I that actually traveled all these experiences together to get acknowledged, to be, I don't know, to be at some point ready for the highest, for to be able to enter this heaven? Who is this I? Who am I then? Because now all the ground floor from the base from all experiences is being shaken to the core. Who's this I? And then the I dissolved. Everything dissolved completely. forever and for good. And that person, something clicked finally. I knocked on the door and said, I know who I am now. I am that I am you. And in that moment, that I, when it dissolved, recognized itself as the Lord behind the gate, saying, only I can be here. No one can enter. No one will enter other than me, my real self. And that person said, well, fascinating. I am you. Finally, I know. I understand. The rest is pointless. No matter what you do, as long as you believe to be that I, you will never enter the reality of the self ever. And that's your true nature. The experience of I am without the I am. That is the self itself. Real freedom. The rest is just mental games. And you have always known this. Fascinating. You have always known this. But you just believe the game to be more powerful than you. Because you wanted to play, that's fine. It's okay. Only when the illusion breaks, only then you'll have the experience of I am everything. Not before. Imagine the reality of the self as just one infinite ocean without movement, without waves, nothing at all, without qualities, without attributes. And that is the highest truth. And you are that. As long as you see up and down, here and there, fantasy. If you see past lifetimes, future lifetimes, fantasy. Even if you see ignorance and awakening, is fantasy. All of those things are happening in the fantasy, in the game, in the cosmic game, but not to the self. In the reality of the self, nothing is happening. Nothing at all. The self is complete, already whole. I'm talking about you. You're already whole, complete. So something that is already complete, you cannot really add anything to it. Nothing. Neither you can take anything away from it, which means you will never be able to expand. You will never be able to reduce your experience. All those phenomena doesn't apply to you. You are complete and whole. You are everything. You are the infinite self. You are the infinite itself. You're already whole. So the moment you see time, don't listen to it. The moment you see an ocean up or more, don't listen to it. The moment you hear the proposal that at some point, if you do this and you do that, don't listen to it. Doesn't apply to you. They're just ego-based assumptions, limitations, duality to its core. To enter the reality of the self, you gotta be empty of everything. Otherwise, you will never enter. You will never see yourself as the self till you know nothing, nothing at all. As long as you know something, you will never be able to know yourself as the self. Truly infinite, unbounded, ever. And it's so easy to be empty. It's the most simple things, but requires humbleness and openness. That is all that is required. For you to be right now open and humble with your open heart and recognize that really you don't know anything at all. You think you do. That doesn't mean you do. Fascinating the story I just told you about this little being dying and having all these experiences, it's fascinating. Because at the end of the day, no matter what you do, it will never result in the self-realization. Because it has nothing to do with what you do. It's more of don't do anything and be rooted in that. Because if you pay attention to the doing, any kind of doing or trying, if you look closely, underneath, there's a desire. If you pay attention to that desire, underneath there's a lack. Otherwise, why the desire exists? There has to be a lack underneath in order for the desire to blossom. That's so easy to understand. If there's a desire, it's because there's a lack somewhere. So if you want peace, let's say because there's a stress or something, and you wanna block it or change it or replace it with peace, love, or what or something. If you understand why you want something, why don't you go to the root of the why? And you always end up with a lack of something. There's something missing. You end up in a field of beliefs and desires that are they want to be manifested, but they're coming from lack. They're always coming from lack. If you pay close attention, if you investigate and you go deeper, it always starts with I want, I desire, I need. I want to experience happiness. I want to experience peace. I want to. I need to, whatever. I and something. And not many people actually investigate who is this I that needs something or that is experiencing anything. Whatever. Because if you find that the I will disappear because you will never be able to find it. The moment you track it, the moment you put your gaze into the hunting mode, let's find this I, you will never find it. Ever, because it doesn't exist. So if you never find this I that doesn't exist, it means that all its imagination doesn't exist either. It's just fantasizing with itself because a misunderstanding of identity. And that's what is happening. In the simplest of things, you're just mistaking the I as you. That's it. You're not that I. You have never been that I. You are behind that I. And that one, no one talk about it. No one can describe it. Because the moment you say anything about it, it becomes an object, a phenomena, something that you can actually perceive. Here you're here to discover who's the perceiver of everything. And the perceiver of everything really doesn't perceive anything at all. The ocean will never be able to see waves ever. No way. No matter if it's a small wave, a big wave, 1,000 of millions of big waves, cosmic waves, no, it will never be able to see waves. The illusion breaks when you find out or you break from the identity of who you think you are in terms of that one which sees things. That's the illusion, the seer. But it's a beautiful pointer. It brings you so deep if you play with being the witness of everything and then challenge the witness. Challenge that one which is aware of things. Challenge that one which is conscious of things. Challenge, don't accept that even that one which is self-aware, consciousness itself, conscious of itself, don't actually acknowledge it as if it were you. And then we're talking of a bigger game. You can't be consciousness. You will never be able to be that. You're beyond it. You're beyond it. So easy, so easy, so easy. Like I said, as long as you know something, you will never know self, ever. No matter how you try. Just be empty, be quiet. Acknowledge that you can solve the riddle. Or even if you have solved the riddle, be open, be empty, be humble, be naked, be innocent, be here. Truly. And then your true self is like self-evident, already free. I said at the beginning, my only concern is you. I only care about you. That's the only way we can actually be certain that the fantasy can actually be broken, to discover your true nature. I don't care about things in front of you. They're useless, honestly. But I give you a perspective, how the reality of the self is so important, so pure, so sacred. Like I said at the example at the beginning, that only the self, by the self, from itself can actually make you enter. Only the self can actually help you enter by the self experience that you are self-aware, as I am, as the I am, because that's the only real experience that you have, that you are. The rest you can actually put it into doubt. All your memories, interpretations can actually be questioned. And you can have doubts, uncertainties, regardless of everything that is happening in front of you. But funny enough, like I said, there's only one place that is doubt-free, and is in the experience of you that you will never be able to deny yourself. That's how strong your sense of self is, that you will never be able to say, I am not. So, as I said, the only way to enter the reality of the self is by your sense of self. Anything in front of you it will just take you to more fantasy, pain, and suffering. In one meeting, I gave you this example, and I had to say it again. Depending on what you play with, the result will be about the thing that you were playing with. For example, let's say that we're in a new year, we're in a new year. So one of my desires for the new year is I want to get fitter, let's say. I want to be healthier. So if you want to be healthier and you have that on your list, let's say that you might go for walks more often, you might do more exercise because you want to be healthier, So the way to get healthier is you move your body, you exercise your body. So you exercise the body, the end result will be body sensation, body experiences. The result will be body something, If you want to learn a new thing, let's say play the piano, you go to a teacher or someone that can actually teach you how to play the piano, so you can play the piano. So the context of what you're playing with, the result will be that which you're playing with, So if you wanna, so why am I saying this? Because if you play with your mind, the result will be mind. If you fantasize with your mind, the result will be fantasies of the mind. And mind is I, mind is ego, mind is duality. So as long as you play with your mind, you will never break free from duality, because mind itself is duality. Mind itself is ego. I is ego. I is illusion. So that's why here we don't play with anything regardless of the mind or the I, because the result will be fantasy, duality, suffering, and all the fantasy that the I can bring about, like so many things. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. So that's why here we don't play with those things, because it's only bondage. They just replicate, perpetuate bondage, suffering. Here we explore the self, that which is beyond the mind, beyond consciousness, beyond anything. So the result will be self-realization, or realization of the self as who we already are. As long as you play with things, you'll become one or recreate or project anything that you're playing with. And if you're lucky, there's something in your heart that says, yeah, that's not the answer. I need to find myself first before I find and investigate and discover the world and the universe. Because the missing piece in the puzzle is you, has always been you. You just gotta know who you are. If you knew who you were, you will never have any intention about anything. If you really knew who you were, you wouldn't desire anything. You wouldn't be looking for anything. You wouldn't be searching for anything. If you knew. And if you knew who you were, nothing would actually exist at all. Nothing. No me, nor you. Creation doesn't exist. Humanity doesn't exist. Love doesn't exist. Hate doesn't exist. Nothing at all exists. No things exist. Only the self exists. And you are that. Without other. And that's literal. There's no other than the self. Your true nature was never born. I will never die, ever. The suffering, the pain, the confusion, the fantasy comes because you don't know who you are. That's it. It's so simple. It's just a misidentification with the notion of the sense of I. You're not that. Break from the illusion of the I, and you'll know. You'll know. The rest is just fantasy. Time is a fantasy. Space is a fantasy. Just mental constructs because you want to make sense out of things. Because if you remove your I, if you remove everything, you really become empty of everything. Ooh, it can be scary. Of course, it can be scary because you can't make sense out of anything. The abyss will open and will swallow you. Not many people are ready for that. That's why not many people are here today. And that's why not many people will ever be here. Well, that's why many people will live here, because they are not ready to really be empty and really remember, and break free from the big illusion. Because there are small illusions within the illusion. And you can break from a small illusion within the illusion, and then you say, oh, I'm expanding. And the biggest trap of all is like, I know I broke from the illusion. No, you're in a bigger illusion. The bigger the illusion, easy is to break from it with the proper understanding and guidance. And without it, it's almost impossible to break free from the big illusion. It's almost impossible. Because there's still arrogance in their heart, no matter how beautiful it is. Like I said in the example before, you can actually be with the most beautiful, amazing, expanded beings in the most beautiful and higher realities. That doesn't make you qualified to enter the reality of the self. It's fascinating, but it's true. And yet it's so simple. You just require a pure heart and to acknowledge yourself as who you have always been, and stop pretending that you are a limited being, that you are a human being, that you are confined in a body, and everything that is in front of you as if it were you. That's so easy. Nothing that you see is you. Nothing that you have found is you. Nothing that you have discovered is you. Nothing is you. You are the one that has been always there watching it all happening. Nothing applies to you. Nothing applies to you. So within the illusion, there's so many discoveries, which are beautiful. I'm not denying the discoveries. I'm just saying that nothing that happens can define who you are. So don't bring it to the game of your identity, because nothing can actually talk about who you really are. You don't need to. It's impossible to talk about you. We're doing the best we can to talk about everything that is not you, so you can actually be clear. And then finally, the last bit of the illusion breaks, and you know that you have always been the infinite being, not a infinite being, the infinite being. Source itself. As long as you know something or you play something that is from time, that's death, that's death. Everything that has the quality of time is dead already. Sorry to say this, but any techniques, any methods, any approaches are time-bound, are coming from past. Past is death. It's like you go to a beautiful restaurant and they're giving you fresh food, new, present. And then someone comes and says, well, I can bring you the wings from last week. Or even more powerful than that. Just, sorry, I gotta say this, but this is just funny. These wings have been passed on through the ages of time. They're pure wings. Jesus ate them 1,000 years ago. And you're like, come on, really? Really? You're giving me something that somebody ate 2,000 years ago and you think it's healthy. You think it has nutrients, something that is already dead. Something that is coming from the past can actually be alive. When literally you pay attention, past is a mental construct that is already dead. Fascinating how the mind works, how the fantasy works. But not many people are ready to be totally empty and face the real present. Face it, empty, attentive, without any crouches or a platform to walk on or a platform to experience anything from. Remove everything. Be bold. Be bold. Don't go for anything from the past. Don't go for anything of the past at all. Nothing at all. Don't go to any concepts, ideas, learnings, experiences, nothing at all. Leave it. Be empty now. And then you'll discover more of yourself than anything that happened in the past. Like I said, at the end of the day, the time, everything that is, it has a quality of time, space, has to be dropped in order to face reality. That's why it's so rare to find this, because this you will never find it nowhere. You can read books and you don't find truth there. You will confuse it. You can watch videos and you will confuse it too. You assume things. You'll interpret things as if you had or know or experience. As long as there's an experiencer, of course there's an I. I experience, I've noticed, I read, I know. There's an I. As long as there is an I, there's a you. There's a me, there's a there. There's a here, there's a over there. Break from the illusion of the I. Be empty, be quiet. Don't do nothing at all. Just here. And you'll see you have always been free. The one that is free is the one that has transcended the I. The one that doesn't identify with the I. The one that doesn't even acknowledge the I. And then the one that actually consciousness or anything that you put a name on has dissolved for good and forever, then that's a master. That's a true awakened being. The rest, just funny, just funny. So here we are to explore the reality of the self. So simple, so easy, so complete, so beautiful. Without effort, without trying. And my only job is here to make it simple and clear and directly to the core. So you actually know for certain, without a doubt, your true infinite self. You have always been empty. You are just watching a really crazy cosmic game that is coming out of your heart and through the mind projecting in colors the multiplicity of the infinite potential. But still you, everything starts and ends in you. Anybody have any questions or anything?
Oh, thank you, Sir Khan. I just wanted to say, so you teach us how to find our true selves, the path to show our true selves, or I remember looking at pointers that you gave, and the best way to achieve that. Yeah, I guess that would be the best way to separate myself from all my dualities. So yeah.
Yeah, something you mentioned is like I said, is only pointers.
Yeah.
You know, and that's important because uh, who you really are, or where you really are, is beyond any stages. Even a stateless state doesn't describe where you really are. You know, so uh, the only thing I can do actually point out to you. No one can actually say this or that. No, it's impossible, you know. Otherwise, it comes something that is in front of you that you have to maintain, hold, perpetuate, take care of. It's like, because it's a thing.
Mm.
You have never been a thing. So any trying to cultivate, practice, love, taking care of is just nonsense, because it's treating it as if it were a thing. Like I said before, the self is not a thing, you know, and that is important. You are not a thing. You're not like a piece of carton that you can buy in the supermarket. That is a thing, you know. That why the self will never be able, you will never be able to find it, because the one that is looking, the finding is the self itself. The one that is looking, that is watching the searching, is the self itself. The self is watching the searching, but that one is not really searching anything. You know, that's all. Like I said before, is you just have to take this as pointers. That's it. They're pointing to you. It's like finally you have to discover who's that one, and it's up to you. It's your self-discovery, which is beautiful to watch. There's nothing absolute other than you. You are the absolute.
Thank you.
Thank you. Savitri asks, hi, hola. Once completely empty, is there no longer any game? Uh, yeah, it's a different game. You are the whole game, and you are beyond the game. You are in the game, and you are not in the game. The game is in you, and the game is not in you. It's impossible to express it with words. But the game disappears for good, completely. It's gone. And then, regardless of your question, the game changes in relationship with being. Like I said before, when the illusion breaks, only then you can actually say, I am everything. Everything, literally, everything at the same time. And at the same time, nothing at all. It's fascinating. You know, the game changes. Like I said, break from the ego is so easy. So if you break from the ego, identity is so easy, and the game changes, of course. But then the once you break from the ego, a different game appears. And like I said, is the consciousness game, which is pretty amazing, big game. It's really almost impossible to break free from that game, unless with proper guidance of if you're mature enough, or the self just manifests itself as a incarnated in the game for the game. And that's the biggest, or the game to break from, because only then you remember who you really are, when you break from the consciousness game. And then the game changes too in a different, but it's impossible to talk about it, you know. But it's in relationship with being that, and that which is everything at the same time. Something like that, you know, something like that. Something like that. Like I said, it's impossible to describe the indescribable, and the realm of the indescribable, and the game is playing the indescribable. Is impossible. It's impossible. But you know, it's fascinating. It's fascinating. For example, maturity and discernment comes as long as one is humble and pure in their hearts, and the fire to full awakening, full awakening. Partial awakening is not awakening at all, but full awakening is rare. It's really rare. It's not rare because it cannot happen. It's rare because people actually don't want it. It's accessible there for everyone, but it requires for you to be empty completely of everything, of you or me, of everything. And if you become empty of everything, everything goes. I mean, everything literally goes, disappears, dissolves for good, everything. And not many people are ready for that. They still want to hold on to their limitations and desires and cravings. And that's just suffering, but still, that's what they want. That's fine. It's fine. At the end of the day, anything that they play doesn't touch or implicate anything to their true self. So it's fine. Play. It's okay. At the end of the day, it's relevant what you play with. You're still the self, immortal being, regardless of whatever you want to play with. But a few of us, we don't want that to be a concept, an idea, or something that will happen, or it's like, no, I'm done. I want to know now. And I want to really awake now, And those are rare. Even though like real awakening beings are really rare to find. Even harder to find are teachers that actually are teachers of nothingness, of emptiness. Those are even rarest to find. Almost impossible to find. But as difficult it might seem, it's also difficult to find true seekers, true people that actually want to really know, I really want to know. But like I said, it's easy with the desire or with the openness, the willingness, and the humbleness. Is so easy. Without those things, mm-mm. Yeah. It's time for you to embrace your true self. It's time. Really, you don't have to postpone it. You don't have to, just don't believe anything that proposes time, tomorrow, here and there. Don't listen. Just laugh away. And you, in the simplest of things, everything that happens to you doesn't apply to you. That's easy. Then you're free. If you know that nothing actually can define you, you're free. But that's the tricky thing. There's a moment, like I said, you can recognize things in front of you, it's easy. Thoughts, emotions, the body, sensations. But then you end up in the realm of the unconscious, thoughts, patterns, beliefs that were hidden, concepts, interpretation that were hidden. You don't have to do anything with it. Just, look, there's one there, there's one there, there's one there. But there's a moment that you start to see subtle experiences or notions or things, But then you can actually, whoa, time, space, feelings, the sense of being, the sense of I am, even that, you can actually see it. If you see it, it's because it's there, But there's a moment that the seer, you'll be able to see that is in front of you. And there's going to be a moment that you, without qualities and attributes, stop seeing things in front of you. You won't be able to see anything anymore. And the result will be being. I am that. And then the moment, the last, I don't know how to call that in that chain, the little one of these things in the chain, the last one, which is a knot between consciousness, me, I, is a wrapped up thing. Dissolves, breaks, and there you go. The result is you are. And that's the experience. Incredible. Incredible how easy this is. Just don't acknowledge anything in front of you. Don't give it a name. Don't bring about attributes, colors, concepts, or anything. And immediately you're empty. Don't use time, don't use consciousness, don't use mind, don't use anything at all. And immediately you're empty and you end up in just be. Just be. Be as you are. Just be. Simple. But the funny thing is that which just is, it will reveal itself as the self itself. In the experience of I am. Yes?
Hi there. I was wondering if you can clarify something around the self never having seen anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think sometimes we refer in trying to describe it this sense of, like consciousness or whatever. If you can see it, if it's in front of you, you can see it, then it's not you. You're the one seeing it. So there's a lot of referencing of self with
Mm-hmm.
So I think, is it like when you are the self, there's nothing to see because you are everything.
Mm-hmm.
But until you're at that point, there's still the duality, there's still someone seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's right both ways, or?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like I said, it's important to take everything as a pointer. But for example, in the reality of the self, there's no qualities or phenomena or attributes, nothing at all, really, like nothing at all. Not even emptiness, because emptiness is still an attribute, a quality. So it's a pointer. Even supreme emptiness is a pointer. You cannot really talk about the reality of the experience of being the self. Because at the end of the day, it's just a quality. Everything you say is a quality or an attribute. So even supreme emptiness is an attribute, it's a quality, but it's a powerful pointer that can actually is indicating the highest of realities. So if you take it as a pointer, it's really easy because it's pointing back to you. Out of that a reality that you can actually not say anything about it, let's say. From it, the first little thing that one of the most powerful qualities, because I'm talking about the source has no qualities, but at the same time has all qualities. It's tricky with words, but the reality of the self has nothing, and because it has nothing, it has the potential for everything, But in the potential for everything, one of the most powerful things that can bring you into the core of who you are is play or explore being the witness of everything. Is one of the most powerful qualities in the realm of the dream. Because the dream exists because there's a witness of the dream. So it's a really powerful quality, but it's still coming from source. So one of those qualities, like I said, the witness is a mix with consciousness too. It's tricky to split them, because you are the witness, because you are playing that you're conscious of being the witness. But I'm trying to push you so in that you end up being the witness and then don't identify with the witness. Challenge it. Don't accept it as if it were you. But that playing with being the witness can dissolve so many misconceptions of the game. Because if you are the witness of everything, you can't be what you're witnessing. And if you're witnessing everything, then it means that everything that you witness can't touch you or doesn't apply to you. If we are in a movie, let's say, for example, and there's a big a scene happening. I don't know, fireworks, a volcano, or stars, or whatever. There's something happening in the movie. If you're the witness of the movie, anything that is happening in the movie doesn't apply to you. You're just watching the show. But if you keep playing with the witness, it will bring you so far into your own self that this cosmic game, you're going to be able to witness it all as a cosmic game from the witness point of view. Okay? And then that will break that everything that is happening to me, or I am in the movie. I'm experiencing this, I'm watching this, I'm interacting with people, because that's the movie. You think you are in the movie, I'm in the movie, I'm exploring this, blah, blah, blah. But if you're the witness is not in the movie. It's impossible because you're just watching the cosmic movie. And then there's going to be a moment that this movie is going to be recognized, or the big dream is going to be recognized as an event, let's say an event happening in front of you. And it's going to be so clear and evident. But then you end up by yourself, witnessing all. And in there, it's really important that you don't acknowledge yourself as the witness. For our conversation, it's fine. We can have a conversation of being the witness or exploring everything. But in the inner game, in the inner game, it's really important that you don't play with this thing as if it were happening to you. So of course you are always referring as the witness or the observer or consciousness watching, whatever. But there's going to be a moment that even those things, you have to not accept them as if it were you. And then the witness will dissolve, will go back into the source, and then you'll see the reality of being. So it's fine in the interaction or the clarity, but in the game, you're still clarifying, or the discernment, or just the discernment, and anything can't be you. You are that which is prior to everything. But when the veil, because the veil will collapse, it's impossible to talk about it. It's impossible. But playing with being the witness of it all is powerful. When it's natural, when it's self-evident, challenge it and don't accept it as if it were you. Who's that one? Who's the witness? Because still is a powerful quality. And in the reality of the self, there's no qualities. There's still a relationship between subject-object relationship. Like I said, witness is a witness witnessing something. And the process of witnessing. Consciousness, even consciousness aware of itself, well, still a phenomena. Subject-object relationship. Me with me. Consciousness with consciousness is still a subject-object relationship in the most beautiful, subtle game of the subtle perception, and misconception of the game. You are beyond it. And in there, no one can talk about it. And it's so evident. And you can talk about it, but you know that your dad is like fascinated, like, wow, crazy. And they just laugh away. Laugh away. So for the practical discoveries, it's fine that you explore being the witness. It will bring you it will create so much distance to everything. And you'll see that everything is not as real as you thought it was. And is not so evident as you thought it was. And then you end up just being after the witness is dissolved. And like I said, being is not even, it's just a pointer too, It's just a pointer. That's the easiest way I can explain it. Like I said, the reality of the self has no qualities, no attributes. But the one quality that is so powerful that can bring you into the door is witnessing or observing or being that which is aware of. That will put you into the door. And then you'll knock on the door and God will say, you won't enter. And they will just say, oh, who decide who is the witness? And then you're like, whoa, all right. And then you'll see that you have always been inside. opening people's doors and saying, hey, you won't enter. You are the one that is saying you won't enter. Fascinating. There has never been separation, ever. Incredible, huh? We just misunderstood the game. That's it, really. Where the misunderstanding happened. In the idea that you are something that you are not. That's it. That's it, really. You just thought you were the I. You thought you were this wrapped up thing of called I, consciousness, being, whatever. You're not that. You're beyond it. You're behind it. You are this, and here's the little I. You know, the I am, I experience, I love, whatever. Remove this, and here you are, free, radiant, self-luminous, complete, free as a bird, already. Just drop off the I, don't listen to the I, don't self-refer with that I, and things will be shaken, because the opportunity for you to discover yourself as something without limits is at hand. Like I said before, the only thing that doesn't have limits is you. Everything has limits. Consciousness has limits, because it requires your true self there before actually consciousness can actually appear. Without you, consciousness doesn't appear. Just to finish, and then I'll leave you so you can have this space to share, connect, or whatever you want to do and play. For example, when you go to bed and you go to sleep, and you end up in this sleeping, profound, chow, everything disappears. When you go to bed and you go to sleep, everything disappears. I mean, everything. Your spouse, your daughter, the sun, the lights, the moon, humanity, time, space, consciousness, everything disappears. Everything, I mean, literally everything. And yet, you are. And yet, you exist. In that moment, the reality of who you are, or that moment, can actually come closer to what I'm talking about today. In that moment, that's why people can't live without sleeping. Because in that moment, they are free of everything, of everything, of everything. Everything has disappeared for good. So it's something like that. The reality of the self is similar to that, but it's not even close to that, but it's kind of like that. Nothing exists at all. And yet you exist. Because you don't cease to exist even while you're sleeping. Profound sleeping. You don't cease to exist, you're still existing. Just the experience is, let's say, void of things. No things. No thing. Nothingness. That's what I'm talking about. In that moment, or in that period of time, like I said, literally nothing exists. Time, space, here and there, up and down. I mean, the cosmos, nothing. Something like that. And that's why you enjoy it so much, because you're in those moments, or in that time frame, let's say, of experience, you can see that you are free of everything. Humanity doesn't exist. It has never existed. Only the self exists. Something like that. Well, beautifuls, it was such a beautiful gathering. What a beautiful way to start the year, with more people here to connect and explore. Thank you for being here. Thank you for show up. You have no idea how much honor your presence. Yeah. You're everything to me. I love you immensely and enjoy your day. I hope I can see you soon. Love you.
Thanks. Bye.
You can stay online if you want to connect with the other people. Nice to see you all.
Yeah, thanks very much, Sarkan. Good one.
How is everybody doing? Hi, Ilva. Nice to see you. Hi, Lyndon, Sally. Too busy talking. Hi, Martha, Caroline.
Hi, hello. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody. Hi, Colette.
Happy New Year.
Hi, Elizabeth. Victor. Gemma, Gavin, Lillian.
The whole club.
Nice to see you all.
Nice to see you. Sylvie.
Colette. Colette asking if we can have the recording of it. I'm going to talk with Sarkan about that, if we can have it. So it's going to be recorded, yes, and it's going to be available inside of the school of the Wake Up to Roar. I don't think you will have the access of it if you are not part of the online school, but I'm going to ask and get back to you. Good night, Gemma. Good morning to Lyndon and Sally. What did she say?
She's saying we'll call. Lots of catching up to do.
Yes, we do.
So I'd love to just comment that what really stood out for me in that conversation was a constant invitation to go beyond. It felt like there was a constant invitation to never stop at any level of I'm this, you know, because as soon as you declare I'm this, you put a stake in the ground and then you can't go any further because you have to perceive the world from that place that you have declared yourself to be. And I think what really struck me there was that every concept that he introduced, he then invited you to go beyond that concept, you know, and every place of identification, or like, okay, I'm identifying with this now. He then immediately invited you to go beyond that identification. And that just really struck me. And so I found that at the same time unsettling, precisely because it literally is unsettling. There's never a place where you settle and stay, you know, but also really enlivening, because it means that you stay constantly alive to whatever is new now and now and now. And yeah, so I think that's what really stood out for me, that there's never it seems like there's never a, okay, right, we're done now, like we've arrived now, we've found the thing, we've pointed to the right thing. It's like, oh no, that's also just a thing. So yeah, I really appreciated that. It was amazing.
Yeah, anything you want to sit on, he's going to shake that. Nowhere to stay, no floor to stand on. How's everybody else? Well, thank you, Lyndon, for your input, and yeah, hope to catch up soon with you and Sally. Yeah, we stay in touch. Good to see you. Happy New Year.
Thank you. See you soon.
See you soon, Martha. I need to see you soon, Martha. I need a haircut.
Yes. Great. And I see you're back in Auckland, so from your holiday.
Yes.
I will be back in 1 week.
Right.
Thank you.
What did you say, Lyndon? Oh, he's gone. Hello, Gavin and Lillian, always there. Good to see you.
I really hope that there will be a transcription of this, because the points that he made were absolutely fundamental and important. And knowing me, I won't be able to remember very much of this talk. And so I need to be able to go back and revisit it. And
yes.
If I can't revisit it, there's no point coming to even the first one. Anyway, thank you very much for organising it. And
it's been lovely seeing you all. Yeah, and lovely energy. That's what I usually don't put any expectation for anything, but that's all. Every time I get that, group energy that sort of keeps me going.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Good to see you. Hopefully we can see each other for real soon as well.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
Wonderful. Well, I think I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah, me too.
good idea. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
And Happy New Year again.
Bye.
Bye.